What is up, Jaguar students? It's your friendly neighborhood math teacher, Mr. Allred, and I am so excited to bring you here today to Unit 1, mini lesson number 1, about ratios and rates. Okay, today's learning goals, and we'll make sure that we can check off today's learning goal by the end of today's mini lesson, is you should be able to determine unit rates and use them to compare different situations. So today's mini lesson will probably feel mostly like sixth grade review. Of course, as long as you paid attention last year in sixth grade, it should feel that way, because we're going to embark upon quite the journey in this unit about ratios and proportions. By the end of the unit, we'll be looking at maps, and we'll actually be able to figure out how far apart cities are by looking at a map. We'll be able to draw a scale drawing of our own bedrooms if we'd like to. We'll be able to do lots of things with proportions by the end of this unit. I really look forward to working on it with you, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, this is going to be like I said yesterday in class, this is going to be your first entry in your new table of contents in Unit 1, Ratios and Proportions. As you're watching this right now, you should make sure that you have that written down in your table of contents as your first entry, okay? Because it's entry 1, you're going to write entry number 1 in the top right-hand corner of the notes, and we are about to get started, okay? What is a ratio? Ed Puzzle is going to ask you what you remember from last year. That's right. A ratio is really just a comparison of two different numbers by division. For example, in my first period, I have 12 boys and 9 girls. So a ratio of that information would say there's 12 boys to 9 girls. This little colon right here is definitely one specific way to make a ratio. Or you could simplify that ratio, of course. 3 goes into 12 4 times, 3 goes into 3 3 times. So there's a ratio of 4 boys for every 3 girls. There's 3 different ways to write ratios. If you have 4 apples and 6 bananas, you can write that ratio with a colon, like this. You can write the actual word 2. You can write 4 apples to 6 bananas, or you can write it as a fraction, 4 apples over 6 bananas. All of those 3 ways, you should read them like a ratio, 4 apples to 6 bananas. Okay? A rate is just a fancy ratio. It's a ratio of 2 different quantities. Quantities is a big word for numbers with 2 different units. The big thing is that they have 2 different units. That's the big piece of this. Okay? That's the big piece. You must include the units when you're writing rates, or it's not going to be very easy to understand. For example, just the other day, I ate 12 hot dogs in 2 hours. And I wasn't very happy with myself afterwards, but I was very happy over the course of that process. My rate was 12 hot dogs to 2 hours. Okay? Please note that if I just said 12 hot dogs to 2 and left out the hours, you wouldn't know what I was talking about. I could be talking about 2 years or 2 days or 2 months. Okay? But the fact that I've said 2 hours makes it more specific. That's what makes it a rate. That's what makes it a rate, guys. It's very important, okay? A unit rate, okay, it helps us understand rates more clearly is all it does. It's our big buzzword in this mini lesson. Our big buzzword in this mini lesson is unit rate. It helps us understand rate even more clearly because it's been simplified so that the denominator is a big word for, tell Ed Puzzle. That's right. It's the bottom number in a fraction. It's been simplified so that the denominator is 1, okay? So, for example, if I was riding on my bicycle, just hanging out on my bicycle like a boss, and I'd bike 75 miles in 3 hours, my rate is 75 miles to 3 hours. But a unit rate might help me more easily understand just how fast I was going. I was going 25 miles per hour. I found that by doing 75 divided by 3, and that's 25 miles per hour. So I found my unit rate. Okay, I took the top number and divided it by the bottom number. Okay, I'll do one more example for you, and then you're going to answer these last 2 on your own. There's 112 students on this team, and there's only 4 teachers. The rate is 112 students to 4 teachers. If I took that and simplified it so that I made the denominator 1, I would take 112 and divide it by 4, and that's 28. So there are 28 students per teacher. That's the unit rate of the Jaguar team. Okay, these next 2, you're going to try to answer them. Ed Puzzle is going to help you answer them. Okay, take a second to do that. Awesome job. If Ben biked 36 miles in 4 hours, 36 divided by 4 is 9. So he biked 9 miles per hour. If you take 11 tablespoons of soap and 2 quarts of water to make weed killer, 11 tablespoons to 2 quarts. If you try that, 11 divided by 2, well, that's 5.5 tablespoons per quart. These are unit rates. Okay, rates simplified so that the denominator is 1. It's really going to be the biggest thing that we work with here in today's mini lesson in tomorrowing small groups. Okay, tomorrowing small groups, I'm going to give you some coupons for some different items. Okay, and your job is going to be to find the unit rates of those items and compare them. You're going to be answering questions, okay, about some of the different items and be comparing them to each other. And it's just going to be a really fun real world activity for you. I can't wait to see how hard you work in your small groups tomorrow for this activity. Okay, so that's all the notes that I have for you today, to be honest with you. Okay, those are notes on unit rate. Okay, unit rate is a rate that has been simplified so that the denominator is 1. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember, guys, that Michael Jackson once said, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. That's right. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. Bye, Jaguar students. We'll see you on the flippity flop.